various personalities will be interviewed and will give insights and share their views on these various topics. My name is Ogunleye Damola and this is the Real Talk.
On Edu TV Nigeria.
Through the link.
The world is changing. Things are happening.
Please, let's start.
Our politics is changing. Even our surroundings. You sure don't want to be left out. You have to be eager to meet new people and get inspired. Health, love, inventions, academics, business, and money. The world of sport and entertainment just have to be informed and enlightened.
The post of the president is a very important position in any organization. It plays a pivotal role in steering the wheel of the people. And that is why we are here today, to hear from the people vying for the post of the Student Union Government President of Obafemi Awolowo University. It is a swell moment here to hear from some of the aspirants going for the position of the president. My name is Jeremiah Ojo, and this is Edu TV Nigeria. We have two people going for the post of the president. We have Olokede Oluwabukola, politically known as Bukola. He's a student of the Political Science 300 level. And we also have Jimoh Kehinde, politically known as Efficiency, from the Department of Management and Accounting 300 level also. Mr. Bukola, can you say hi to the house?
Hello, great first students. This is Bukola Olukede, one of the presidential candidates for the post of president in the coming Student Union election, which will come up tomorrow. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Bukola. Let's move to Efficiency. Can you say hi to the house? Mr. Efficiency is temporarily not available, so we'll move on with Mr. Bukola. Bukola, can you just give us a summary of your person, sir? Can you introduce yourself?
All right. I am Bukola Olukede, as I've said earlier, and I am someone who is focusing on how to bring about a visionary leadership. We've always talked about youth involved in politics. We know that politics is something that is very weighty, and we need to check the capacity of people who will get involved in this before we can hand over the burden of leadership to them. That has been my focus, that in these days that the elderly ones are doubting the capacity of we youth, it should be my responsibility to these elderly people that we are ready to take the baton of leadership from them. So basically, my focus is on leadership, and like I always tell people, anyone who is aspiring to lead tomorrow cannot afford to leave anyhow today. That has been my focus. And apart from that, I'm a political scientist in the making. I'll be focusing on public policies and political economy. Those two areas being my primary areas of focus. I am a Christian and I'm a child of peace. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. You mentioned being a student of political science. Do you think that can give you an edge going for this position as a president?
All right, that's a good question. There's this misconception people usually have about those who are studying political science. Now, we need to differentiate between politics as an art and politics as a science. Now, what they are training me to be is a political scientist, not a politician. So, primarily, art of politics, how to win elections, how to negotiations, how to make compromises, all of those. But they are teaching me the understanding political processes, political institutions, and how we can use this understanding to bring about the betterment of the society. So primarily, I'm not being trained to be a politician, but like you, definitely, I'm a student of politics, and there are certain things I have understood about politics, both in theory and in practice. And the theoretical understanding of politics, definitely, they will give me an edge because I will definitely bring them to bear in the practice of politics. So saying that I'm not being trained to be a politician does not mean that the study of politics that I've been exposed to will not give me an edge. Definitely it will. And the theoretical understanding of politics I have garnered so far, because I studied political science social studies when I was in the College of Education before I proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University to study political science. All of these experiences and understandings put together, I am ready to bring them to bear in steering the leadership of the Great Ife Students Union. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're already going into my first question, answering my first question now. You didn't actually do justice to summary of your person, like introducing yourself, but that's fine. We'll come back to that. OAU is 60 years. Now, what can describe your inspiration for this position in connection to the 60-year celebration of Obafemi Awolowo University?
All right, that's a good question. We need to celebrate the advancement of OAU since the inception up to this time. But good thing, everything that started in a good way needs to be sustainable, and we need to consolidate on the achievement so far. Now, I have always heard it from senior colleagues, those who have graduated ahead of us in Obafemi Awolowo University. They usually make a kind of distinction, and that distinction is that they attended Ife and I am attending Obafemi Awolowo University. And what are they trying to say? What they are trying to say is that the quality that was obtainable then, when this institution was bearing University of Ife, is different from what we are having currently. Now, I'm not here to denigrate or to dent the image of my alma mater. I am here, I'm aspiring for this post in order to bring about the usual great Ife we've always had in terms of culture, in terms of quality of education. So while I am supporting the celebration of the anniversary of Awolowo University, I think as students and as a stakeholder in Obafemi Awolowo University, in conjunction with the staff, the governing stakeholder of Obafemi Awolowo University, we need to work in tandem together to ensure that the great institution is sustained. Because if things continue the way they are currently, the substance is getting lost, and it is high time we come back together. We come together to sustain the legacy of University of Ife, which has been one of the best universities in this country, and which has produced so many alumni who are doing fine out there. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's now connect it to what you want to do. What inspired your vying for this position as the president? What do you want to do to make a difference?
All right, sir. All right, sir. Now, what brought me out for this is that for every discerning student of Obafemi Awolowo University, they should have noticed a trend of deterioration, not in terms of structures alone, but even in terms of quality education we are receiving here. Now, there are so many experiences we have had, and I discovered that the quality of education and even structures, these things are deteriorating, and this trend is yet to be arrested. There is a drift towards deterioration currently. Now, we don't want a university that will just give us certificates. We want a university that will equip us with the skills and the substance that we need to face the modern economy. So what I'm bringing to the table is that what I would do differently is to ensure that as student of Obafemi Awolowo University, give skills and a kind of education that is commensurate to the certificates we are going to receive. Now, I don't know if you followed some trends in Obafemi Awolowo University, you would discover that for 2 good sessions, that's 2 good years, law as a course was disaccredited in Obafemi Awolowo University. It was just accredited recently by National University Commission. Some courses like botany and even fine arts also were disaccredited. Now, we do not need to wait till our courses are disaccredited before we know the quality that is on ground. So one of the things I will be bringing to the table is ensuring that we have something like internal quality assurance that assures us of the quality on ground and what they are offering us. We need not to wait till NUC come for the disaccreditation of our course before we know the state of these things. So this is what I will be at the table. And also, we need them the living conditions, the recreational facilities, the healthcare delivery, transportation, all of these things. They are supporting system that we students need for us to concentrate on our academic activities in order to come out as one of the best, so that we can compete effectively with our counterparts from any part of the world. So these are the things I would do differently when I emerge as the president of the Students' Union.
Okay, thank you so much. I am sure that other aspirants are joining and we would like to hear from them. Do we still have anyone on now? Efficiency, are you there? Okay, while we wait for others to join, Mr. Bukola, it seems you are the only one on the hot seat here, and I'm sure you will like that because it's a plus for you. But notwithstanding, I would like to still ask you this question. There is always an antecedent to everything that happened. Now, the student union was proscribed some years ago. Now, can you give us a brief antecedent of the student union government, past student union government, and what you think they did that made what student union look like now, and what you want to bring in as a new thing?
Especially Great First Students' Union has been one of the formidable forces in time past that ensure of education and even contributing to national issues. Now, there are so many strides which Great First Students' Union has achieved in the past. And people who have held these positions, they are making waves in the world currently. I could remember when General Yakubu Gowon reneged on promise to transit the government of Nigeria from military rule to civilian rule. The then Student Union president, Professor, is the current, sorry, let me remind his name. He's the current chair of Obasikiru Adetono, governance chair in the Department of Political Science, Olabisi Onabanjo University currently. Now, while he was there, these were people who trooped to the streets and they protested against the decision of General Yakubu Gowon to stay put. They protested against his refusal to hand over, to set in process, to hand over to the civilian administration. Now, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, he was a former student union leader. The late Yinka Odumakin was a former student union leader. All of these people, they did well when they were here, and they saw student union as a formidable tool. Students, not only within Obafemi Awolowo University, they ensure that student union was used to defend the interests of the common people in ensuring that subsidized education as we are having it continues, because university education is expensive, and in the absence of this subsidized education, many of us will definitely not afford university education. So these people ensure that education is not monetized, especially university education. They ensure that it was not turned into a where students will pay much, and as a result of that, many will be incapacitated from having university education. But the current trend of unionism in Nigeria is not something that is encouraging. I could remember one Professor Olabode Lucas on The Nation. He wrote an article sometimes ago where he said that when we were having our independence, could you believe that student union leaders were used as ushers? They were attached to dignitaries who were here to celebrate our independence anniversary with us. And as at that time, student leaders were rational, they were reasonable. But currently, student leaders, what we have currently is student union leaders, they are so enmeshed, even in mainstream politics, that instead of defending the welfare of students, they concentrate on mainstream politics. We've had so many scandals like student union leaders embezzling the money of the union. But what
Now, that
I'm
is the point
bringing
I
on board
I
currently
want
is
to
that,
nail. That's the point I want to nail. Embezzlement. That's my next question. Sorry for cutting you
yeah,
short.
yeah.
I want to nail
All right,
that
all right.
point, embezzlement, because it's
All
a
right.
very germane point, especially in even our national and international politics. Embezzlement.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think
Yeah.
you would avoid embezzlement in your tenure, working with different people you've not worked with before, those with different
Okay.
intentions coming into your cabinet as an ESCO?
right.
How can you undo that?
All right. All right. All right. Now, based on my antecedents, you asked for my person before. Now, let me give this example. When I was in the college, I was a president of my fellowship, Christian Fellowship. When I was about to be handed over to, that was when our temporary structure collapsed as a result of heavy rain. Now, it was during my tenure that we started our permanent building from foundation, and it was roofed before I left the place. Now, I was in charge of more than £1 million, and this money was utilized for what we supposed to use it for. Now, in Manala College of Education, Mountain of Fire and Miracle means Christian Fellowship. It is there today. I was the one who handled that project, and by God's grace, there was no scandal attached to it. Every document that we use to disburse the money, to account for the money, everything are still with me currently. Now, I'm bringing these experiences into into student unionism on Obafemi Awolowo University campus. And one of the things I think we need in order to ensure transparency and accountability is that we need to ensure that all our spending are in tandem with budgetary allocation. Now, our budgets would definitely be sent to the SRC, but while we are sending the budget to the SRC, we are going to ensure that our budget is publicized. We are going to send it to every platform where students can see the budget proposal of the Central Executive Council. Now, after it has been approved by the SRC, we are going to ensure that it is publicized again. Students will know the amount that is voted for each of the things we are proposing to do. Not only that, I will bring on board a public procurement policy. I will send that law to SRC. And once it is passed by the SRC, it will be the instrument that will be guiding our procurement policy. And our procurement policy will be competitive. Now, we want to buy some desks or tables, for example. Now, we are going to send these adverts to the whole university community, and we ensure that people bid for it. Now, by that, we will ensure transparency, we will ensure accountability, and we will ensure value for money. Because once we advertise these things, students who are even having businesses will be able to compete for the procurement of this thing, and we ensure that what we are buying, what we are spending money on, we are getting value for it. So bringing all this on board, it will curb embezzlement, sir.
Okay, you've nailed your point. I also want to ask you, you mentioned something of religion and politics. You made mention of your leadership position in terms of religion, and you are trying to say you bring it into politics to curb transparency. Do you think that is actually interwoven? Can that work together?
Yeah, it's an experience that will serve me good when I emerge as the president. And let me give you an example, sir. Now, while this construction was going on,
you have 1 minute, sir.
We embarked on some, yeah, all right. We embarked on some activities. We wanted to sandfill our auditorium with sand. So we were giving money to do it, to pay people who are going to do it. But what I did was that we did it ourselves, and people were expecting that, okay, we should just share this money among the executive. Now, I told them that no, I will not do that. Now, this is what we eventually did. We bought this satellite, this kind of, we usually use for DSTV, the big one, to be connecting to the headquarters. Now, when people want us to be sharing the money among ourselves, I told them, I stood my ground, that no, we are not going to do it like that. This is how we are going to do it. We are going to get value for our money, and we are going to use this money for something that is tangible. Now, that is within religious circle. They wanted us to spend the money anyhow, but I was able to stand my ground to tell them this is how we are going to do it, and it was eventually done. So there is corruption even in the church.
You've actually made your point. I would like to cut you there. I'm so sorry. Now, I want you to help us with something. You have an agenda.
All right.
And the school calls you that this is against our intention. For example, you mentioned about the academic system deteriorating and all. So what do you think can be done if you and the school, or when you and the school, because that is normal, when you and the school are at loggerhead in achieving a particular aim, what would you do?
Reach the point of loggerhead. My approach has been this, for people who have been asking me, what is your approach? How are you going to do it? Now, in unionism, they taught us 3 C's. You consult, you consolidate, and confront, lastly. Now, when I entered OAU, when I got to Bafemi Awolowo University in 100, during our orientation, that was when the management brought up the policy of 4 students in a room. Now, the implication of this policy was that it would drive students off campus to leave, because no squatting, nothing like more than 4 students in a room. Now, that was the implication of that policy. Many students would leave off campus. But when I got here, we were having transportation issue because many students had been driven off campus to leave. Now, I personally felt that as a student of politics, and they didn't cater for the security, the transportation of students who will be leaving off campus. Now, during our orientation, we were asked to ask questions and make suggestions. So I stepped out and I made this suggestion. The suggestion was that based on the policy of the management, many students have been driven off campus, but this policy was not well thought out. So I made a suggestion. I said I had been to FUNAB before, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Now, when I went there for post-UTME, I discovered that they have big buses conveying provided by the school, conveying their students from off campus to campus, charging ridiculous amount of money, like 20 naira. Now, when I went there for post-UTME, they convey post-UTME students from off campus to campus, to and fro, free of charge. Now, I made this suggestion to the management, appealing to their rationality, that we students will understand what is on ground. Inadequate accommodation is a result of mismanagement of the university system on the part of the past university authorities and even the government. Now, what I did that day was to appeal to the rationality of the management, showing them that we understand what is on ground. Now, I made suggestion that management should provide buses that will be conveying students from campus to off campus, and I was not asking that they should be conveying us free of charge. They should be charging ridiculous amount of money that we can be using to maintain those vehicles. Now, what I did there, my approach was that I appealed to their rationality. Now, the first thing that would be my approach, first principle, is appealing to their rationality, showing them that we understand this system, and that is consultation. Now, after this, we consolidate what we have told them to do, and we need them to be transparent with us.
Are you there? Are you still there? Hello, Mr. Bukola, are you still there? Okay, if you are here with us, joining us, this is the OAU Student Union President debate and manifesto, and we are here to still talk to Mr. Efficiency, but we are on with Mr. Bukola. Mr. Bukola, are you there?
All right, sorry. My system went off. I need to switch to my phone now.
Okay, thank you so much. If you are joining us,
can you hear me?
The OAU debate between presidential aspirants of the Student Union government, and we are on with Mr. Bukola. My name is Ojo Jeremiah, and this is Edu TV Nigeria. Now, Mr. Bukola, we got your point. All right,
let me continue, sir.
Okay, sir.
All right. So before we reach that point of confrontation, there must be dialogue. We must have exhausted that. Now, management telling us that they cannot accede to our request. One of the things I've always told people is that I will definitely bank on the legitimacy I received from the student of Obafemi Awolowo University, and that of unionism. So once I take them through what we are passing through, the processes we have passed through, the dialogue, and we show them that the management is not willing to yield to our request, even when they have the means to do so, we will now rely on the power of unionism coming together to exert influence, pressure on management in order to achieve what we want. And we want quality education, we want internal quality assurance mechanism to be in place. We cannot afford to have certificates without substance. Life is no longer, education is no longer about certificates. It's about the skills and the substance we receive, so as for us to compete effectively in the modern economy.
Mr. Bukola, sorry for cutting you short there. You made your point, the 3 C's, ending with confrontation. Now, there is the part of education and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is gaining more prominence over education.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think you can do in addition to your security, quality education, transportation, and all? What do you think you will do to have a robust graduate, including entrepreneurship, with their education?
Thank you, sir. Now, in my department of political science, I'm bringing this as an example, what I would do. Many people are in Department of Political Science currently not knowing what they would eventually use their degree to do. Now, last year, the president of my department set up a committee to be in charge of organizing conferences, symposium. One of the program I brought on board, though the committee was eventually dissolved, was that what can we, political science students, use our degree to do? Now, how can we find a proper in the society? Because they've told us that political science is not professional. Now, one of the things I set in motion that time was that I searched for those who study science and they are doing fine. One of them is the Deputy Managing Director of First Bank currently, Mr. Gbenga Shobo, studied political science in my Department of Political Science, University of Ife then. Now, he's the Deputy Managing Director of First Bank. Now, political science may not be related to banking, but where he is today, while he was studying political science the foundation of his subsequent pursuits. Now, what I am bringing on board here is this. Now, we have studied course this university, and they are out there doing well, excelling in their different fields of human endeavor. Now, we are going to reach out to these people, bring them to the university. Now, they definitely help us to bridge the gap between the theory we are being taught here and the practicality that is obtainable out there. So by that, we're able to bridge the gap between theory, between the town and the town, like we always say in the university system. So this is one of the things I will leverage. As regards entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is currently what we should leverage. But we need to know that entrepreneurship is beyond selling things. Entrepreneurship is about the creation of values through what you have studied. Now, let me give you an example, sir. Have you watched these films in Yoruba, Saworode, Agogo? Those films, they are Yoruba films. But despite their fictions, they use those films to portray political realities of the Nigerian state. Now, I have people studying political science. They are interested in filmmaking. Now, it does not mean that you are going to use your certificate and be searching for jobs around. Do you know that currently the biographies of our past political leaders in Nigeria, they've written their biographies and autobiographies. We have not turned them in movies in Nigeria. So you are studying Nigerian government and politics. How can you use your entrepreneurial skill leveraging on the political science you have studied now, and you have interest in filmmaking? Now you can go and study the biographies of our past political leaders in Nigeria. After studying them, turn them to a script and work with other people to turn them to movies. Now, this is a generation that does not really read. We have some of these people, those who read them, but turning them to movies like The Life and Times of Abraham Lincoln, The Team of Rivals. I've watched that film. That of Lincoln, I've watched that also. That of George Bush, I've watched that also. We are here to leverage that. So entrepreneurship is not about selling things. It's about creation of values and how you can sell these values to people. So that's an example that I've given you. And these are the things we are going to leverage when I get into office.
Thank you so much, sir. What can you say about your opponents? We have efficiency and some other ones. Who are they? What strength do they have? And what strength do you have? What tells you that you will win this election?
All right, talking about my opponents, I know that what I usually tell people is that I was in a meeting sometimes ago and they were asking some of us to step down. I told them that whosoever the people, the gatekeepers want to support, want to step down, I will not buy that. Though we have interest in politics, but you need to consider the conviction of each of these people who have stepped out to contest for one office or the other. So I told them not to compel anyone to step down, because in the future, the person might be saying that, oh, I didn't mean I was not forced to step down. I could have won that election well in office. Now, my opponents, there are certain things they have seen about our university, and those things are the convictions that brought them out to test. So I can say that myself and my opponent, we are people in the interest of the great Ife Students' Union. Now, I don't know their ulterior motive, but in contesting for that particular office, I assume that that should be the interest of every aspirant. Now, I can't really assess my opponent because if I assess myself, I may on them, or it is that I overrate them. Now, as I said, I cannot be objective about that. I definitely have.
Hope it's not your purpose to ask that, sir.
It is not, sir. By God's
Are
grace,
you
it is
sure?
not.
Because the internet does not forget. And we'll replay this to you later
Definitely.
on, sir, if you win the election.
I love this, that whatever
You know
I am
you are the
saying
past
here,
president
it will
of
be
the
kept for
college,
me.
and the world has seen you. Hope
Yes.
you will not disgrace
Yeah.
the legacy you have, sir.
I will not. I have places to get to in life, and I will not allow micro level, whatever I will do at this micro level, to spoil the great future ahead of me. People have asked
This is
me
not a micro level.
about
This is
this.
a
I've counted
pivot
the cost.
level for your greatness in life.
Yeah.
Well, I would say
Yes.
it is left to the students of Obafemi Awolowo University to decide tomorrow, to
Yeah.
decide who will be the president of the student union government. It is high time for us to know
Right.
that the position of a president is so much important as a steering wheel to
Yes.
get into the promised land of the people as a whole.
Yes.
Finally, my question to you, Mr.
Yes.
Bukola. We have three major
All right, sir.
playmaker in politics anywhere. Well, let me pick it from OAU.
All right.
We have
All right.
the Senate, stroke the lecturers.
Yeah.
We have the students,
Yes, sir.
and we have other bodies
sir.
working within the school. How would you see to bring
Yes,
these
sir.
things together to make it work, sir? Because this your tenure must work
All right,
if
sir.
you win the election. And how do you think it will
All
not
right,
result to confrontation, which is your last C, to make a peaceful
All right.
OAU? Yes, let me also add that we are known for as a school that have an epileptic, in quotes, epileptic calendar. You're coming in, how would you see
Yes,
to it
yes.
that the school will not have a strike in, strike out kind of calendar? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. One of the things I've made my priority is that I will ensure that I steer the wheel of our students' union in a way that no one will have to spend extra day campus because of student unionism. Now, based on the example I gave you, that what I did when I was in the 100 level, I told you about rationality. See, sir, I wrote an article some time ago, now that our union is back. The article, I published it on Medium. And one of the things I addressed there is that gone are the days that we students, we see ourselves as the antagonists of the management. Gone are the days that the management see us as antagonists. We are not antagonists of each other, and we should not antagonize each other. We should see ourselves, the staff, lecturers, the staff, the non-staff, the federal government, with the students also, and the community where the institution is located. We should see ourselves as stakeholders who are passionate about the progress of this institution. Now, I've met the Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Isiaka Aronsi. Now, my club, Astute Debaters Club, we have a program that will come up on Thursday. Dr. Edifayemi is our guest. Now, while we were pursuing this program, we need to get some things done. Myself and my president, I'm the head of the program of that club. Myself and my president, we met the Dean of Student Affairs. This man is very courteous. This man is very rational. And even the things we wanted to do, he was the one putting us through, telling some of the staff to help us through. Now, that told me that these people, we should no longer have misconception of ourselves. We should no longer antagonize each other.
Sorry, sir.
Now I know that.
And romancing with the student affairs, the division of student affairs, I'm sure you will not be a puppet to them later on when you enter. I'm sure that you are matured enough to undo their interest and the students' interest. I am sure you'll be able to pull things together that this calendar will not fall. I'm sure that you will be able to be courteous enough, like you said, to be able to work alongside the school and not be their playboy. It is very important for us to know this.
No.
This is not a platform for us to forget the student who brought you in. if you eventually win. Now, it is very important for us to know that. Finally, I would like to ask you, what is your age? Are you matured enough to handle this position? What is your GP? Can you answer those questions, sir?
1993. Yeah. I was born in 1993. I was born in 1993, August 11, 1993. All right.
Are you mature
in terms of my CGPA,
emotionally, financially, to handle this position?
I am mature enough emotionally, financially to handle this position. And one of the doubts I would like to clear from people's hearts is that my students, my colleagues who are passionate about student welfare and who want to get this thing done, they are the ones supporting me. During my election, the little we have, even people were complaining about my publicity. It is because I was being very careful about the kind of help I receive, so that no help will incapacitate me from being on the path of the students after my emergence. So in terms of finances, I have withered some. I am contented with the little I have, and those who know me, they know that about me. Emotionally, I am mature enough to handle this. Financially, I am mature enough to handle this. As far as concerning my academics, currently I have challenge with some of my results, but the result of my e-portal is 3.82. That is second class upper. My last semester's results, I took 7 courses. I have seen 6 results out of the 7 courses. I have 3 A's, I have 3 B's, and the last one, by God's grace, I'm expecting an A. So academically, by God's grace, I'm relatively strong, and this will not jeopardize my academic pursuits, and I will try to balance everything together.
We have an acronym for IFE, which means Intellectual Fighter for Emancipation.
For human emancipation.
We don't want a fighter for emancipation who is not intellectual in the position of the student union. And that's why I'm asking you this question. We want someone that is balanced in every area to be able to handle this position. Can you handle this position? And what's your final word to the students of Obafemi Awolowo University to voting for you in the coming election, sir?
All right.
You have 30 seconds, sir.
Intellectually, I am capable by God's grace. I was to student of Obafemi Awolowo University is that our aspiration to see OAU as a element where we are being equipped with the skills and substance that we need to live a self-reliant, a productive, a competitive, and a prosperous life in the modern economy is our joint aspiration. This aspiration should be our joint aspiration, should be our shared aspiration, and if it is our shared and joint aspiration, it should be our joint responsibility to make this happen. My own their own responsibility is to support and vote me into office. Not that only, after my emergence, they should continue to support me. My own responsibility is to represent them well, is to advocate for their interests, is to bring everything together to ensure that their interests, their welfare are promoted and protected by His grace. Thank you, sir.
Bukola. Thanks so much, Bukola. This is Edu TV Nigeria once again, and my name is Ojo Jeremiah, and this is Obafemi Awolowo University Presidential Debate. We are hearing from the presidents. We called them. We were joined with Efficiency, Jim Okende, but we lost him along the line and he had not gotten back. We have been on with Olokede Oluwabukola, popularly and politically known as Bukola, a political science student, 300 level OAU. And we hope to see you as the president of the student union with what you've said, which is so convincing. Anyway, we hope to see you working great, and I'm sure I will knock on the doors of your office one of these days. It is normal to have controversies when you are in politics. So expect me on the doors of the president when you get in. So thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Bukola. Hope to see you as the president.
All right, thank you,
and hope
sir.
to call you the president of the Student Union Government, Obafemi Awolowo University. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
If you have your question, be so sure that it will be answered, gotten to you. We'll send it to the president and he's going to reply you appropriately. The next day, tomorrow, is the election. So let's do well to come out, cast our vote. It's very, very important. And with this, I'm saying, without a politically conscious citizen, there cannot be a well politically governed country. It is so germane and so important for us to know that. Please, let's come out to perform our political assignment and to see that we put in power the most efficient and the most credible candidates in this. It starts from the student union to the presidential. So we'll see you at the other side. Thank you so much. I am Ojo Jeremiah once again, and this is Edu TV Nigeria. Bye for now.
As various personalities will be interviewed and will give insights and share their views on these various topics. My name is Ogunleye Damola Stephen, and this is the Real Talk.
Only on Edu TV Nigeria.
The world is changing. Things are happening. Our politics have to be eager to meet new people and get inspired. Health, love, inventions, academics,